Hi, my name is Joel McKelvey. I'm with Looker, and we're going to do something ill-advised today, right? We're going to do some live demos for you of some innovative ways to get data out of a traditional data environment, an environment of a report and dashboard, and right into the hands of people who need to use it. I'm very, very lucky to have Pravin with me. He's going to be doing the hard work of doing the demo, so be kind to him as we go through it. And why is this important? There's some legalese. I hope you all read that. So we're all here because we're data people, right? And we understand that organizations that do well with data do better as businesses, do better as organizations meeting their charter. And I think these numbers show that, but what I want to tell is a bit of a cautionary tale before Pravin comes up here and shows his demo, and that is that not everyone is being particularly successful in this regard, right? 69% of businesses say they're not data-driven, and when you look into the metrics, they get a little bit uglier the deeper you dig in. 80% of the structured data we collect, we never analyze, and we need to ask ourselves as data people why that's the case. If we believe that this data is valuable, that it contains insights that make our businesses tick, why are we not using all of it? Why do 2/3 of us still mostly use Excel to do things? Because that's sort of an old school way of doing a lot of the analytics that you need. And why do a lot of the data experiences that we talk about end up being very isolated into purpose-built tools with one silo of data, another silo of data, another silo of data? So how do we get this into the hands of people who are looking for something more? They're looking for something that feels native to a population that uses mobile phones, that is constantly on the move, that isn't looking for a printed out report or even a digital dashboard of stuff as the best way to get to their data. So I said it before, I'm super lucky to have Pravin here, and I want to welcome him up to the stage. He's going to talk through some of the interesting things that have been done at Yapstone. And what I think is really most exciting for me to be on stage with him is that they've gone through that first stage of really making data stick, and now they're looking at going that extra mile to getting data into all the hands of the people who need it. So welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Joel, for very nice introduction. I hope I stand for it, everything in today's session. So my name is Pravin Darbare. I work for Yapstone. Yapstone is a fintech company. Whole my career, actually, I spent most of my time building the data ecosystem, how we can do it better, how we can do the same thing in different ways so that it can be consumed in the better way. I have the experience working with the media, security, airlines, power system, and fintech and different domains. So mostly I try to see the opportunity where I can do it better and see it actually what we can do other than what the traditional people are doing it. So little bit about the Yapstone. Yapstone is a full stack fintech company. What's the meaning of full stack? Probably I think I will talk through a little bit about it in a minute. But before that, I'll give just a scale of the Yapstone, what Yapstone is. So every year we process $20 billion transaction processing volume with 20% growth year over year. We have actually more than 1 million merchants. It's a big scale, big number, and I have the use case. I will talk through my presentation. What's the meaning of that? How to solve some of the problems using the technology. We are the number one in the rent vertical, where we process 5 million transactions for the rent vertical, just for rent vertical, every year with $5 billion processing volume. So I'll give just some example where maybe I think it will be clear what we do. We operate into the vacation rental in that vertical. So you guys go on vacation, everybody. Just I'll give the example how this our business is. So suppose Joel has a beautiful house in Hawaii. That's his vacation house. And now it's a vacation house. He'll not be there most of the time. He will go only for vacation. Now he want to generate a little bit more revenue out of it. Hey, how I can take the advantage of it? And now he is putting his house, listing his house on the marketplace, right? So that other people can come, rent it, and he can get additional revenue. So he has put his house on the marketplace. There is another guy, Diego, right? He wanted to take his family on the vacation to the Hawaii. Now he is trying to book the house. He fortunately found Joe's nice house there, and I think he is trying to book it. He is putting his card. That's where something Yapstone comes into the picture. We are full stack fintech company. We actually help the marketplaces to capture the payment actually from the traveler, get that payment, do the split payment. Property owner actually get the most of the cut, right? Because they own the property, right? Marketplaces, they get their own commission. Also, the payment processor like us, Yapstone, get our commission as well. If the insurance is involved, they also get this. So we do this actually, all this behind the scene, the back-end processing of the payment, as well as we bring the trust to the marketplaces. Like how you will know actually there is a physical property available there, right? Also, maybe I think somebody is not stealing somebody's credit card and using it, right? So the fraud and all those, we check everything behind the scene. So going to the next journey, when I joined the Yapstone, there was hardly any system, data system was available. There was some work was happening on the finance where we can get these transactions and how we can recognize the revenue. So we took very different approach, how to build these systems. Normally in the industry, people look at, hey, what is this data source? This is target, how we do here, bring the data here, build the model. I said, hey, let's step back a little bit. Look at it, what we need to do. Let's look at the business processes, not the sources and target and all those. So we started with the sales and marketing, right? That's where something most of the deals happens, the contract happens, right? So looking at actual leads, opportunity data, once the contract is signed, then the next logical process is going to be onboarding of the sellers, the property owners, and their properties. And that's where something risks come to the picture. There is a physical property is there, right? And this guy is a genuine guy. He owns this property. All those validation which we do it as a part of the onboarding process. Next, the physical, once the onboarding is done, next is a contract to cash. You sign the contract, you onboarded these guys, and now the first transaction needs to come pretty quickly, right? So that's the process you look at into it actually. Next is, once you start getting the transactions, basically people are booking the houses and all those, you start getting like the funds in. So you have to go capture the funds from the credit card or whatever the different mechanism are there, the people are booking with. Get those funds, capture, and last is disperse those to the individuals, like marketplaces, property owners, insurance company, and the processors' commissions. Along with that, there are other processes, you look at it. Fraud can happen. There are very smart people, I will say it, but they do some bad things as well, right? It's not always you will get the good people everywhere, right? So same guys comes and they can exploit your e-commerce website again and again, changing. Today is John, tomorrow is Tom, and all those same guys making synthetic ID and exploiting it, right? The fraud can happen. How to manage this fraud? So all those processes, cancellations, somebody is actually saying that I'm going on a vacation for 10 days, but some work came. Now I'm going to reduce my vacation from 10 days to 6 days. Partial cancellation. Or maybe somebody is canceling whole trip. How the refund will happen. So there are tons of processes. We looked at the process-wise everywhere and how to define our system, how to design our data systems. Next was, it's not the only thing. I think what we have done is, then we said that, hey, let's talk with the stakeholders, individuals, guys, portfolio owners, and see that, right? The first logical things what we understand, each portfolio owners, like they wanted to know the KPI. How is my portfolio performing? What are the different KPIs? Is there any growth opportunities are there within their funnel, right? Just taking the example of onboarding, if I'm onboarding property owners, basically they are the sellers, and then I think along with that, the properties are getting onboarded as well. So what do we do? How to measure that? How quickly, automatically they can get they can onboard it. Also, they are providing all their documentation on time, right? If somebody is providing half the documentation, what do we do? Who is waiting on what? Are we waiting on seller or they are waiting on the analyst to review their documentation? So all those processes, there are different KPIs within that funnel for that portfolio, how to present those in the better way to the stakeholders and portfolio owners. So another use, we are the payment fintech company. We continue deploying the new products and the features. So what is most important thing? when you build some product or a feature, there is a ROI is defined for those. Hey, this is what the forecasted ROI is there. When the product get rolled out, what do? You wanted to measure that. This was my forecasted. This is the actual ROI. Where we are lagging. Is it better? I think we have a gap. That's one thing to measure and give the right feedback to the product management team, also to the business. Also look at it if there are bugs in the product. This is very important, which we take it very seriously. Any new product or the feature you roll out, you will see the bugs here and there. How we can help our product organization, also the portfolios or engineering teams, so that they look at if there are any bugs and which bug is causing how much revenue damage, and how we can quickly see that based on the data, we analyze that and see that which bug is important to see within the funnel where the customers are dropping. So we help to optimize our product and the features as well. Another very important thing is how we can take most of our decision based on the data, and especially the major decision. One of the onboarding example of what I was talking about. Hey, we don't have to wait for complete documentation from the seller. You can actually bring the seller into the business pretty quickly if the minimum documentation he can provide, right? For compliance perspective, when you disperse the money to him, that time probably you might need all the documentation. But the intention here is how we can get into the business pretty quickly. Once you onboard this guy, start taking the booking on his property is not vacant, he is happy, marketplace is happy, payment processor are happy, everybody is getting their revenue share, right? Once you disperse, you can say that, hey, legally I cannot disperse you the money, you need to provide this document. He is also motivated to provide the documentation because he need to get his money. So these kind of decisions, we make it actually based on the data. That's where something we say that if this specific step you take it, then I think this much is the change in the revenue is going to happen. Another very close to my heart, which is as a technologist, is a platform as a service and data as a service, which is very important. Like platform as a service, if I see, we encourage the other groups to come to the platform. Data is there. It is there in the specific format. You can bring your model and run it actually and do your machine learning. You can bring any kind of algorithms, doesn't matter. Features are there, right? We work with you to build those features so that you can run any kind of machine learning models and you can do the AI within that. So next is very important is we focus on the products. Data is gold mine nowadays. Everything is actually data driven. So we build actually our products like link analysis, or maybe I think some of the data as a service, the providing data to the customers and all those, how to monetize those using the APIs and all those. And obviously, some of the innovation like using the voice recognition as well as the virtual reality, the Looker bot. So there are tons of things out there which we work on it. So looking at all our use cases, also maybe talking with the business, so we come up with the tools and technology. Here, maybe I think I will not walk through everything, but I will highlight a couple of things here. Data integration, we actually done very nice way. We have the latency data coming into data lake in 15 seconds, less than 15 seconds. And then after that, actually, the data lake is, I think Snowflake is our environment, right? So we have all the data consolidated at one place, Snowflake, which is our central repository for the data lake. Second is the last one, if you see on the right hand, with your right hand side, you see the Looker. Looker we are using for many different purposes, including data discovery, or maybe I think data as a service, the API, embedded analytics. There are tons of use cases which we are using it. Custom building, some of the charts and all those, which probably I think will show you some of the things. So one more example, probably I think I would like to walk through you guys, and maybe I think this was very important. We don't want to come between the data and the user. They should be how to empower your business using the data, right? But I think they wanted to do their own things. They said, hey, I should be able to run my ad hoc things. Okay, let's see what we can do. This was the problem actually we want to solve within our organization. Also, maybe I think for our external customer. At the same time, there are some opportunities. How to convert this data engineering team from cost center to profit center. How to monetize this data. there is some model we can put together, then we can say that, hey, this is what something we can charge it. These are things come free. And these are the ones probably I think per gig we can charge you, right? Because we are giving you more than what you have. So then the last one was like, hey, what is the right approach? Maybe I think we can spend actually a lot of engineering hours and put together details around it. Or maybe I think let's look at it. What are all the different frameworks are already available? We can plug and play anything like that, right? What's the tools technology available? It should be easy to fit into our ecosystem. That's what is something is very important. Also, it has to be cost effective and speed up delivery. It has to be there. Nobody has time for you guys, data engineering. So, hey, data, they want today, now. That's what it is right now. So next is, then we said that, hey, we can give the access to the users for the data, for the ad hoc analysis. We can build some actually query building tool for them, drag and drop and all those. It's not hard. But, you know, you give them the data, they can get overwhelmed with all these things, right? Then I think there is too much things. Then I think the value of that data goes away. How to do it actually provide the access to the control way to the users. It's not something you are saying that, hey, here we go, take it everything, and now we figure it out. No, we'll fix it. We'll give the base on the domain, based on what we do, right? And then I think you will have the proper authorization, authentication. That's where something is so important to see that who need to have the access to what asset, and who is authorized to do that. And we realized that, hey, we have a solution. Looker Explorer with the LookML is the solution. Easy, framework is there. Just take it and build it, right? Customize according to your needs. And LookML provides so much ability, flexibility to provide the right way how you can take your data and put it into that framework and provide the access to the users. Another thing, maybe on the innovation side, maybe I think I would like to talk through a little bit about it. I already mentioned that we have 1 million+ merchants. Basically, these are the sellers, property owners and all. Some of them are very big. They have 1,000 properties, 2,000 properties, right? They said, hey, I need access to this, right? And probably I think how to train these guys, right? 1 million merchant, is there any way physically we can train these guys? Probably not. So we decided how to take the advantage of the technology, how to train this guy. Also, at the same time, you need to have the same kind of experience training these guys so that we don't miss. Also, maybe somebody is upset, the physical somebody analyst is training somebody, trainer, but I think he's not giving the same experience. How we can do that? How we can solve these problems by using the technology? So this is what the architecture we have put together. On your left-hand side, you can see this, all the voice recognition devices. Then you will see that you need to look at actually what the skill set comes with that devices, voice recognition devices. You need to register those, the keywords and all those where I think which will be recognized with voice recognition. Then very important thing, there are two things. One is the authentication, authorization. Anybody is coming and giving voice recognition command and then accessing those specific assets is not a good thing. You have to protect your assets and see that how important it is. Who is authorized to see that? Maybe you have the 100 content, right? But out of that, only 2 content is authorized for John. John should be able to see only 2. How we can put together those content and see, authorize those specific thing, to John. That's the content level. Authentication is on the, hey, this is the right guy. This is the same guy. There are multiple methods actually. We are reviewing the architecture around it. You can have the one-time password. You can have the text. You can have the knowledge-based authentication. Password, probably in the voice set recognition, probably we are avoiding username password. Somebody has to say with the mouth. These are not, so which one fits into this category? So the right framework based on the knowledge base, the text, the phone call and all those, that's where we are putting together right details around those areas. Then obviously the last what we are seeing is calling that through the Looker API, getting the data back through the Looker API and again serving to the user. That's the architecture which I am talking about. So maybe I think I can show you guys the few part of it, probably just the skill set and the registry. Maybe I think you guys can see how it works, right? So this is the demo, we built it.
So here we go, he's on the high wire, everyone, just so you know. We're using trade show Wi-Fi and doing a live demo. So this is exciting.
So this one, again, maybe I think this is not the whole thing. We'll show some of the content and all those, but I think a few snippets, how it works through the skills. I'm just going to demo this one. So basically, skills has been coded, right, in the registry. We have registered those keywords and all those. And then it's going to the command to the looker. So I hope this Wi-Fi is working.
In staged onboarding, you have received a total contracts of 11,120, out of which 50% are approved, 6% are conditionally approved, 0% are verification in progress, 6% are declined, and 37% are disabled.
So this is maybe, I think, just I'm giving the snippets. It's not the whole thing. Rather, we are trying to see that we are structuring the proper experience and all those along with that. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the dashboards and all those, what we have, the real one. Those are very critical ones, some of the one, right? But maybe let's try one more thing. Let's see.
Welcome to the Alexa Skills Kit. You can say hello. Top 5 off decline reasons: codes are do not honor, 34% insufficient funds, 26% generic authorization decline, 26% no reasons to decline on verification request, 9% CVV failure, 5%.
So basically, I think this is showing some snippets around when somebody put the credit card, right? Some of the credit card get declined. What those decline reasons are there? Maybe sometimes you do not have the enough credit. Or maybe I think your CVV code, you have not put it together, the right CVV code. Or maybe your address, which is there on the file, which the bank issued the credit card, is not matching what you are putting into doing your transaction online. So there are different top 10 reason codes and all those. These are some of the things are very important for management or the payment operation to optimize those funnels and all those. So this is something. So let me go to the next one, next slide. So there is another very important thing which we are doing it actually on the virtual reality. Some of our dashboards and all those, we want to make it fun, right? We are actually enabled the virtual reality in our office and seeing that, hey, let's go through it. Let's see that, test it, some of the things, and see what else we can do along with this. So on your left-hand side, you can see our CTO. He's going through the stage onboarding dashboard. He's looking at the performance, how the onboarding is happening and all those through the dashboards, right? He is experiencing, hey, what we can optimize, what we can do with that. So very important things for us. Also, this is very amazing things for our technology people to have some fun in the office. On your right-hand side, you can see our CEO. He is looking at the finance dashboard. The number, dollar amount is very important for him. When he's going through it, actually, he's seeing a stack of dollars inside it and seeing it, oh, this looks good. So we are almost end of the session. Maybe I think I just wanted to leave with some very important thoughts. This is very important to you. We all should be concerned about it. How to communicate to the users, how to send the right messages, what is the best way to actually get them engaged with the data, right? What you are seeing is actually the rock, and there's a carving on that rock. This is in one of the temple in Cambodia. This is from the Ramayana, some Sanskrit epic from India, but this is on the temple in Cambodia. People have learned how to communicate in the best way hundreds and hundreds of years before. Those methods are still actually holds good, right? So I think this is what something maybe I think we learned. Talk with the users, understand their pain points, and see that. Don't develop just a dashboard. Look at the story. What's the story they are looking for it, right? Every portfolio is a story. Make that story. Don't build the dashboard. It has to solve business problem. It should be able to answer the questions, actually the real questions. It should say that where the pains are there, what are the growth opportunities. It should speak for itself, everything. Right? So it's a storytelling, everything is a story. We looked at actually the data, what we have is just like a rock. Now how we can start carving that rock actually with our portfolios and the innovation, what we can do, and communicate with our users with the best way and see that. Thank you so much.